Happy Monday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery. Jeffery at JefferyTV.com. Coming to you live on Memorex. Default route, default location. On this glorious Monday. Very nice temperature climate. Not sure what the word is. Feels good out here today, not too hot. Kind of airy, breezy. Slightly turning into that fall type feel, but still 76 degrees. It says it's 70 degrees out here, but it feels like 76. You can see there's a lot of sun. Southern California. They don't call it sunny Southern California for nothing. As opposed to the Bay Area, it always seems cold to me. Even when it's hot, it feels cold up there. It can be refreshing at times. Don't get me wrong. But I live in a desert. I live in a city built in a desert. And I recognize that. That point is reinforced every time I go back to Ohio or go east. Get amongst all them trees and green everywhere, and rain and thunderstorms and such. Not a complaint, just an observation. So there was one time when I flew back to LA from Ohio, and all the sunny and heat irritated me. I was probably tired from traveling, but when I got back, I'm like, oh God, here we go with all this sun and blah, 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 blah. Sunny and hot. And not so much the heat, but just the brightness of it. You know, probably think about sitting on the porch doing little light showers back there, and humidity and all the trees and different weather that you can have all in one day and as such. But, you know, we as human beings can always find something to quote unquote complain about. Or it could be something that we want to improve. Something that we see that we can think be done better according to our subjective view. And maybe that comes out as complaining when we try to discuss it and fix it and point out the shortcomings of said thing or operation or procedure. Because I said a while ago, complaining has a place.
Hey, how you doing, fam? All right, all right.
Complaining has a place in the scheme of everything. It does have a functional reason for being. I've said lots of times, it's much easier for human beings, I believe, to realize what they don't like or what they think is wrong or what's irritating them. It's easy to kind of point that out and describe it than it is to see, you know, some of the little things that, you know, may be very beneficial to you, or things that are to become maybe like status quo, you know, business as usual, but are really things that may or may not just stand out, things we've grown accustomed to. We get this overlooked. But if something irritates us, something gets on our nerves, it's easy to see that, focus in on it. So my money, I feel pretty good. Mr. Scale told me 194. Not sure why. That's a hell of a good number for a Monday. It's not that I may or may not deserve it. It's more I'm wondering how I got there. I mean, I've been eating. You know, it's the weekend. I'm gonna do my thing now. Come on. I didn't get my steps yesterday. I got them Saturday. So we'll see. We'll see how this is gonna continue. How this is gonna end up. You hear me get distracted? Because I saw this girl walking, and the next thing I know, she on a scooter. These kids today. I mean, I say it that way, but I mean, you know, they take advantage. They're just used to things that we're not. And they're gonna grow up different than we are. You know, for one example is, we were young, we went outside and played and did this and did that. We didn't have social media. There's gonna become benefits or attributes or things that this generation that grew up on social media is gonna learn to be capable of and evolve into. That's gonna be different than us. And I don't wanna use the word better or worse. There's gonna be some things that they're gonna do better, quote unquote better, because of social media. And, you know, just because they don't wanna go outside and play like we did, it just makes it different than us. It won't be, quote unquote, worse than us. Do something. My God. I don't know, people, she's probably looking to make a U-turn. Didn't want to make that left, make that right. So she's a little bit hesitant. And I got naturally impatient, as we sometimes do. You know how I can become impatient. At certain things, especially and I'm kind of one who will like call out other people for getting, you know, not upset, but anxious or about other people like blowing their horn. Boo, 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 boo. You know, somebody don't like take off right at the light and be in a hurry. Boo, boo, boo. Sometimes I get like that. I'm human. I'm human. I consider myself a highly evolved human. I may not, can't use the word to evolve, probably processed. Well, that could be kind of, you know, capable, educated. But I don't think of myself as being superior. Superior in certain categories and functions and actions and maybe even understanding. But since understanding is so relative, it's hard to say. You know, accomplishments, et cetera, knowledge about computers or knowledge about this, or my experience has led me to be more capable of some things than others. So I might be better in some aspects as that. For example, say, better at doing help desk at a law firm than a lot of people. But that doesn't make me, quote unquote, a better person. Because it's hard to know what a better person is if we don't know what the goal is. If we don't know what the goal is, we don't know which way we're trying to go, what we need to be, what it is the human beings are going to have to evolve to, or learn to deal with, or acquire to be successful, because we don't know what success is, actually. Right now, it just seems to be to survive. Millions of years ago, the emphasis on the survive thing was probably more crucial, but I think we got the number things down here, 8 billion of us. I think we got that down, the science, to continue life, to maintenance life, fix ailments, diseases. Infant mortality rate is down in most cases. Western civilized, or quote unquote civilized societies got things in place. This beautiful thing we've evolved into being. Yeah, well, me and my mother had a dust up. Kind of a big one. Well, it turned into a big one. But as I think about it now, I think she was asking for it, or is asking for it. You know, pushing it to a point where something is said or something is brought to the top in discussion. But because we all gonna have to eventually acknowledge what's going on. And, you know, certain things that, in my opinion, you know, she does to stay relevant and to maintain some control, or, you know, do something. I mean, because laying in that bed all day, you know, watching TV and playing games on her laptop and stuff. You know, it's not much. It may not be relevant, you know, maybe she ain't really participating in anything relevant or crucial, or maybe even, dare I say, necessary. What happens is she's losing, or already lost, basically all control over everything, you know, because of her, you know, radiation treatment, ailment or injury from it. Her speech is going, And, using her hands, and her legs are pretty much not good anymore. So she's like totally dependent. Zero independence. Just a pretty much. And her world is closing in on her. And there's certain things, and I knew, okay, let's start from my point. I knew that when I come over there, there's not too many things for her to look forward to. I knew when I come over there, but I've never been this person. I knew coming over there, she'd like to, make some food, but she can't do it. So somebody else has to do it. So basically, even though she want to help out to do this, somebody else has to do it. And a lot of times, it causes more problems than it's worth. Me, I just want to come over there and do nothing. I'm paying people to come over here and do stuff. And that payment is becoming quite substantial, significant, to the point where I might have to take out some money. I mean, a big withdrawal, major withdrawal. I'm just ain't talking about if I'm announcing it like this, it ain't just going down to the Bank of America with your ATM. We're talking about major transaction with major tax implications next year. But, so when I go over there, I basically don't want to do nothing. I joke, I say, that's what the staff is for. I'm not staff. And she kind of, maybe because the way she was, being a nurse, doing this, doing that she sees us wanting to be I can't stand when they don't move over. I can't stand when they don't move over. That's why I be like walking over. They want to stay, side by side. I can't stand. I don't know. It's just me. Everybody gotta have a pet peeve. Everybody gotta have something. And I said, I can't stand it. I can't. I was gonna say I was trying to justify, maybe try to change it up to where, I just would like to have something to complain about. But no, it really bugs me. That bugs me. Even if I'm walking in the middle of the street where I'm not supposed to be, I get mad at cars. Even though I know I'm in the quote unquote wrong, I'm out of place. Then when somebody does something to not, to alleviate my out of placeness, like a car might drive in the, oncoming traffic lane because there's nobody there. Why don't you just swing out wide? Ain't nobody here. That's what the dotted line is for. You can swing out. But then I'm in a place where I'm not supposed to be. But still, I want to put on, I'm human. Let's just face it, I'm human. So, it got to the point where, basically, she wanted me to give the caregiver $20 for what she saw as being cooking a dinner for me and her. Because she said, she don't eat that much of it. She just wanted to do something nice, She wanted to do something nice for me for coming over. We just have something to do, something of relevance, something to not fuss about, but something to, oversee or be part of. And, she's, you got Mrs. Dash, can you bring this, can you bring that? All that kind of, let's be involved with something, and I get that part. But I'm not one to pretend or to even, it's hard for me to even be quiet when I see that Just don't, like, basically she wanted to, prepare a meal for me. And I knew, the last couple times she did it, she asked me like over and over, is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? Now granted, she will come up with some good stuff and have one of the caregivers make it. And there's a couple of caregivers that can really cook really good. There's a couple of caregivers that cook really good. And so, the food is good. It's definitely good. It's all nice. But it also gets to the point where you're like, I don't want to be involved in it. It gets to the point where it's not worth, the involvement that I got to do. All of a sudden, I got extra things to do, and she fussing at me because I'm not doing this and I'm done doing that. Sometimes it's not worth it. It's just like, hey, it's cool. Let's not do nothing. Because she can't do nothing. So everything she do, somebody else got to do it. That makes more work for me. I'd rather just not have it and not do nothing. Sometimes I gotta, she gonna do something for me. It's not so much I gotta pay for it, but that's kind of part of it. And then I gotta go and do this and do that. And she fussed about me, yeah, pick it out, turn it over. Did you do this? Did you do that? And she obviously enjoys being that person. Not bossy, but blunt and know what she wants. And I knew, and I kind of know. And I definitely evaluated. I can't say I felt bad, but I definitely stopped and evaluated the situation about, how I felt about this, my stance, my response, and things I said to her, because I was like, look, because we was going round and round, she wanted me to pay the caregiver $20. And I was like, wait a minute, let me call and check with my sister who is handling everything. Everything's going through my sister's doing a wonderful job. My sister's here for day in and day out. She handles all the bills and getting the people, everything. She's, that's what she's doing. So a lot of times, my sister call, ask for something. I try to respond if, money, whatever, try to support. That's what she going through. I don't know if I could do. So I asked my sister, I said, Mommy want me to give so-and-so $20 for cooking this. And my sister said, wait, don't give it to her. Let me evaluate what she's doing there. And I get it. Because we don't want to start paying her to do this. Something that I may or may not want anyway. And forget what I want, what my mother wants. My mother wants this, her cook this food and do this and do that for me. And I don't want it. I kind of told her, I said, I don't want it. I said, yeah, I thought you were doing it for you. And she said, no, I don't eat that much of it. I said, I noticed that. Because her thing was like ordering Instacart. She got nothing, and I get that. She laid in the bed, there's nothing, So one thing she can do is, even when she do order Instacart or whatever, food or anything, Amazon, we got to get it. We got to go out there, get it, process it, pick it up, move it, around. And so I feel for her, I understand. I told her, look, this is going to be hard. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be tough. I don't know how I put it. If I said we got to get through it, we're going to go through it. I forget how I put it. I made it clear, this is gonna be tough. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be pretty. You know, it's that. You know, it's, and I'm thinking I may have brought it to the surface or brought that point up. May have been one of the, you know, I don't know if anybody else had. Said, look, we gotta go through something. There's no avoiding this. It's not gonna get better. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna be harder. You know, because I don't know. I guess, well, I do know. What I'm supposed to do is what feels right or feels good to me. It's like I'll have a limit, and that limit will become evident as the closer I get to it. So I'm just supposed to do, you know, what I can. And then it'll get to a point where, okay, I don't like doing this no more, or something. You know, my question is, how much do I do to appease, if that's the word, to keep her comfortable? Because there has to be a point where you're doing so much that it hurts the individual. You give so much caregiving, you give so much support, you do this for them, you do that for them, that it renders them incapable. But in this case, you know, she is incapable. But we don't want her to just be like, give up trying to do stuff. You know, I said, we got a long way to go. I mean, that's my point, we got a long way to go. So I kind of, you know, we kind of got into it. And she wants control, she wants this and that. And basically, she doesn't have it. It's gone. You know, she's totally dependent on us. And then she got like all day, every day to lay there and think about it. It's tough. It's gonna be tough, so. But I'm thinking, my name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, and more than likely, I'm not gonna go through this like most people would. I'm not gonna probably say and do all the quote unquote right things, and handling things the way society and proper society, the way proper society would handle it. We're gonna go through this Jeffrey style. At least I am. The only way I know how to go through it is Jeffrey style. So, we'll see. And she really didn't want to talk to me, so I probably reach out to my sister. Say, did Mama say anything? What she say? What was the thing that I did or didn't do? You know, what was the thing? You know, what upset her? What part of what I did upset her? I mean, how far do you go? How much do you bend? How much do you stretch around to keep somebody happy? And that's a question that only a person can answer for themselves. How much do you know, how much would you put up with? How much would you allow to make somebody else happy, whether they're quote unquote right or wrong? And you know, it's hard for me to not call something out. In fact, I can't. I don't think I could sit there and fake it. That probably very well could be a large part of why I'm happy, if the word, or how much reason I enjoy my existence and my experience is because it's 100%. I'm being 100%, there's no pretense. You know, as much as I can tell, and as much as I think. So I try to watch that, you know. I just want to be real, say what I want, how I want it, when I want. I'm not hiding nothing. I'm not lying to nobody about anything. I could just be pure me, pure Jeffrey, just pure myself. Don't have to worry about this or worry about that, or acting this way around there, or acting that way over there. Pennsylvania license plates. So that's where we're at. And one of the things I was gonna say, tell her, is, you know, me and your daughter have already went through the experience of burying your ex-husband. So we kind of know what's coming up, what's to be expected, you know, financially and estate-wise. And we know and been told that there's certain things we could do now while you're still coherent to help out that process. I was telling my sister about what you do is, what a co-worker told me, is you liquidate, we would liquidate all my mother's funds so she'd have nothing, and she'd go on Medicaid, and they pay a certain amount a month. Co-worker told me that, you know, they get rid of all her property, she don't have nothing, she get on Medicaid, and they pay for her. They pay for her nursing care or a facility or something. My sister ain't like that. My sister ain't like that at all. For whatever reason. And I was like, okay. In fact, she got kind of mad. I'm like, okay. It's getting ready to get very expensive. It's getting ready to get very, very expensive. Monthly ongoing. Pittsburgh won. Change subjects. Pittsburgh won, my fantasy team lost. And he lost badly. My fantasy team lost as bad as Pittsburgh won. Even though Pittsburgh won, it was an ugly game. They didn't do, it was terrible. It's almost like the week before they lost. It's almost like they played better last week when they lost than they did playing this week when they won. E-I-E-I-O. So that's where I'm at now. As far as my mother goes, there's probably should get a trust, a will and trust, or something, whatever that's called, a trust fund or something. There's certain things we can do to make the probate process go a lot smoother. My father's stuff was in probate for like 5 years. Had to get everything all wrapped up, tied up, you know, dispersed and all that. He had sizable assets, made good investments that are still good to this day. They're still performing. In fact, since he passed, the investments, his retirement, is almost like quadrupled. Because basically, me and my sister split it in half, and that half is already double, if not triple. So that half that I got is more, it's almost 4 times more than it was. Something like that. Not only did I get that half back, not that it was mine all the time anyway, the half that I split with my sister, it grew on top of that. That doubled. So, and I know that it's something precious. I'm looking to my retirement. I'm already looking, thinking and seeing how this is gonna all work. When it's time for me to pass it down, how much is left, how much is not left. You know, how that works. Are my kids ready to have that kind of, lump sum money? Are they gonna be, I'll say Jeffrey, I ain't so sure. Kimberly will know how to manage it. She thinks more like me and my father. Numbers, In fact, she wanted to be an accountant. So, she's a numbers thing. Where my son is like, oh, go ahead, you can have it. Everything is not so mathematic or bookkeeping or accounting. In fact, the thing with Jeffrey, we kind of say is, don't give it to him. Don't give it to him, because he'll spend it on other people, give it away. We be like, don't give it to him, because he won't. It'll just go away. It's almost like he knows there'll be more. It's almost like he knows there'll be more. It's like a never ending. It's like there's a never ending flow. Resources aren't finite. But all that goes through. Granddaughter going to school, she got like her first report card. It was good. The new report cards, they were sent to me in a chat. And so it was like 3 or 4 pages you had to read just to understand what the report card meant. And it was in the chat on my phone, so it was kind of difficult to, make the picture big enough to read and this and that. And it was numbers over here and columns. And I guess it gets more complicated as it goes. I guess it gets more complicated as things go, What am I doing this for? It's empty. They cleaned it out, whatever it was. You remember we had our report cards, A, B, C, D. You know, and then they went to percentiles, this or that, once or twice, you know, percentiles. I think they're using percentiles now. Yeah, child is in the top 5 percentile or this or that. And they get graded on this and that stuff. Just thinking, granddaughter fell off the swing. Scraped her face up. She a tough one. It may be, you know, a large part of our doing, but, and I was thinking, you probably could raise a child as a girl. You probably could have, you know, raised her to where she wasn't as active and rough and tumble and tough and, you know, keep everything subtle and nice and soft and, you know, girls don't run around. Not to say, you know, girls don't run around, but something like that. You know, oh, this is pretty. Oh, pretty girl, this is, you know. We had her jumping off couches and diving on, jumping on stuff. Go on, run. Run, let's go. Ah, I'm at you, you know, this. And that's where she come from, climbing all over stuff. And, you know, maybe it doesn't have to do with the sex of the person. Maybe demeanor and that kind of roughhouseness and rough and tumble. But it's hard to say because, you know, boys, I mean, in general, you know, boys are, you know, seem to be more even across species. I'm thinking boys maybe more rambunctious, more, you know, aggressive. Or males, I should say. They cross species even they're young. Which an argument probably could be made. That the males of the species are more physically aggressive. This one is, she's tough and rough. My daughter call her a dinosaur. She ain't no pretty poodle. She involved. But I'm happy with it, basically, bottom line. Not happy, maybe a superficial way of putting it, but a quick over-the-top way of giving understanding. But, you know, so I'm dealing with granddaughter at one end and grandsons that I gotta see. My son ain't been on social media in a minute. Ain't heard from him in a while. Something about his phone or something. Whatever. He got things he gonna have to handle. He got things he gonna have to handle. In the long run. Because in the long term, it's probably not going to be sustainable. In the long run, it probably won't be sustainable. It's all gonna catch up to them. It's gonna become overwhelming. If it's not looked at and addressed, or something kind of put in place now, or the beginnings of something to put in place. Because it appears as current situation is not sustainable. Something eventually is gonna happen. And just the natural part of life. Things that just happen in everyday life. A hit, and you may or may not be prepared for it. And it's gonna happen. Things like this are gonna happen. He's so used to, falling back to his mother and me. Whereas my daughter, so disliked owing other people or be dependent on other people, she went out and she did her own. She bought her own car, she got her own apartment first. None of us bought our own car first. We helped her out. Father helped her out. I think that was back before I even had disposable income. I think my father helped her out. And such. But, she don't want to owe nobody nothing, and I hear that. She don't want to be indebted to anybody for anything. And that's like my number one, or my number two. Number one is probably my integrity. Number two is my integrity and independence. Number two would be that, not wanting to be reliant or dependent or owing anybody anything. So, out here feel pretty good from Monday. I don't even say from Monday, I feel good. I got sleep, got rest. So, we'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Thursday night, we go do that thing. So Friday, I land at 7, some shit like that. Supposed to pick up the car about 8. And I probably don't have to turn the car back in. I might have to turn, my flight out is at 11 a.m., I believe. So that means I don't really gotta get there till 9. So that means I really shouldn't pick up the car until 9. See what I mean? Because I don't wanna incur another day. But we'll see how it plays out. And I think I'm gonna see if I can change my reservation to make it later. Because I ain't trying to be back at 8. And and the plane don't leave till 11. And the Steeler game comes on at 9:30 because they're playing in Ireland. I got NFL Sunday tickets, so I better watch it. I hope. Better not be on regional TV. Oh boy. (9:30) the game come on. If I watch it in the airport, which I probably will because I should be there at 9. I like to get there 2 hours ahead of time. So more than likely I'll be in the airport. Oh boy, because I got it nonstop. Paid $237 for that nonstop. Something like that. And that's more than what I paid for the round trip. Damn near what I paid round trip. LA to Baltimore. And then Cleveland back to LA. Sometimes you gotta pay for convenience. I get it. So Funky this ball Saturday night, hang out with them people, talk shit. Usually, I think a couple times I was able to go back to the room and get a couple hours sleep, and jump on an airplane, like early that next morning. I think this is the latest flight that I've taken out. 10, 11. Usually 5, 6 in the morning before I go right from the ball damn near, hanging out in people's room to the car and going out to the airport. So I gotta figure it out. Then I get a car, it's just gonna sit. Unless I can't check in on that Friday. Festivities start, people getting there, catching a red eye. You know, all I'm thinking about is when can I lay down? All I'm thinking about is when can I lay down and take me a nap? When can I get in that comfortable ass hotel bed with them cushy pillows and the duvet, TV and air conditioner, pizza or food, and just do nothing. I don't know why I look forward to that so much. I'm doing it now. That's one thing about Monday. Monday ends all that. Monday ends the week. Monday starts the week to where you gotta be turned on. The motor gotta be running. And I don't mind that part. I don't mind the part where I'm quote unquote forced to be functioning or attentive and alert, challenged. Because I had a couple of days of rest, I had a couple of days of rest. So, I can't really say, that, not that I'm exhausted or anything, but I got something to rest in. Not like I'm not, rested or whatever. But such is life. Can you tell I'm distracted? I just got distracted by whatever that is up there sitting down. and catching my breath a bit. Which is always helpful. Breath catching is always something. Is that who I think it is? It wasn't. It wasn't who I thought it was. So I stopped the video, restarted it. That means I'm gonna have to go home, splice it. No, not splice it, merge it. Merge the two videos. Then post them, as opposed to me uploading them as I finish this walk. And by the time I get home, they'll be already at YouTube. Hopefully a transcript will have been generated. And I just run the summary and post to Facebook and YouTube. But now, I gotta go home and merge the two videos because I have become addicted, accustomed, stuck on having my outro, having that proper outro. It's like a thing now. Whereas, see, funky people, and the idea that I always clung to is not to have a thing. You're not supposed to have that. Everything's supposed to be free flowing. Don't get attached to anything. I think that's what the word is. Don't get attached to anything. Like the movie Heat, and they're gonna say 15 minutes. Don't get to a point to where you can't pack up everything and leave forever in 15 minutes. And that's kind of extreme, but it's something that's stuck with me for a lot of years. And it's the way I kind of handle, I was gonna say manicure, organize and manage my empire. Not a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff at all. All right, it's not quite down to 15 minutes, but you know, minimal. As minimal as possible. Well, not as possible, but you know, I try to keep things to a minimum. One thing I do have problems still with is boxes. You know how you get a good box? Hard to throw them away because you never know. But I'm getting better. I used to have like a whole bunch of them, taking up a lot of space. Big ones, you know, kind of medium-sized ones, all stacked inside each other. But I never used them. So I kind of started throwing them away. Now I just, you know, you get those little cute ones, little nice filled and all nice solid. You say, oh, I'm gonna keep this in case I got a, but I'm over that a little bit. What else? Paper, no, I still keep paper. You know, some stuff. Mementos, some receipts, but receipts fade. Receipts fade, that's the problem. You have a receipt a couple years, you can't even see where it's from or it's thing. The whole idea is to have a name, a date and time and a place. And you can kind of remember where you were and what you went through. Where you was at. Where you was at, and you know, once you, you know, what you was doing at that time. Get addressed, and, you know, snapshot of that point in time to remember. But for the most part, streamlined. Everything's pretty much streamlined. I try to get rid of stuff I don't use. I got a storage that I would like to try to get rid of. It's about 100 a month. You know, storage does serve kind of a part of the function in that it does kind of serve part of the function in that, you know, I use it for stuff that I don't want to store in the house. And not just because of space. Well, definitely because of space, yeah. Yeah, it helps out a lot. Definitely because of space. And there's some, you know, some very sentimental mementos in there. Some stuff I gotta look into. I got tapes and this and that need to be converted to digital. Get them off of tapes. They got these legacy boxes. They got these companies, you mail your stuff off to them and, you know, they do it for you. Which seems like it'll be a lot of money because I got hundreds of tapes, but really stop and think about it. If you really stop and think about it, might not be so bad paying somebody $4,000 or $5,000 to do all your tapes. It's 99. If it's $8 a tape, you got 300 tapes. That's only $2,400. Have it all converted. Have it all converted, and with the peace of mind, okay, it's all documented, it's all saved. You know, it's in this format now. I do have the capability of doing it myself. See, if it's digital, it would be nice if they had a machine, put the digital tape in, you run it all the way through at high speed, you capture all the digital data, and then you just export it. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to watch the tape in real time. You should be able to watch it just to pull the data at high speed. That's what you need. That's what you need right there. Something to watch the tape at quadruple speed, just pull the data off the tape and then, you know, write it to the cloud or whatever. I think most of those tapes I recorded, some of them I recorded 4 or 5 hours. Had it on long. I even got VHS and beta stuff. That's a lot. I'm gonna have to pay somebody. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna have to pay somebody. Figure that out. Of course, I when I find one local, if I can find one local, to where I can actually putting that stuff in the mail is it's scary. But I guess people do it, and it's probably reliable. But still, putting that stuff in the mail is scary. This stuff has been, I've been taught that this stuff is very precious. My father's photos, stuff going back. I mean, it's like you don't want this to be in anybody else's hands. You don't want to give that responsibility to anybody else. But gotta think about it. Gotta think about it. It's a lot. Set up I got a VCR even, and I got a video to digital converter thingy. It seems to have worked, but it's, you know, there's some trickiness to it to get it to behave. And the resolution and picture size back then, you know, it ain't what we used to nowadays. HD, it's probably SD, standard, HD, then full HD, then 4K. You know. Anyway, I feel pretty good. You know, my headaches, I didn't get one yesterday. Maybe because I was in bed all day, I'm not sure. It wasn't the Black and Miles, because I was smoking Black and Miles like a chimney. You know, doing pretty much everything I always do, except for maybe I didn't get my steps and I didn't sit at that table. Could be me sitting at that table with them glasses on. Me sitting at the table with the glasses on, you know, focusing, looking at that computer screen. I thought, the muscle thinking, it's just bumping the back like it boils. Hydronitis spinning over or something. I had one in the back of my head, real bad, at least visually, and pussy, and it was just terrible. I went through some stuff over that one. Then I finally went to the doctor and she cut it out. Castellana, whatever her name was. She cut it all out. Sewed it back up or whatever. And I wore a band and it worked pretty good. But now I think it's coming back. And that's where my headaches is coming from. I think I was getting them headaches from that because I felt back there and it started to feel sensitive, like a boil is coming. So I could feel, you know, it felt sensitive, like, you know, the pressure of a boil. I thought, oh boy, this is coming back. And it kind of felt like, you know, maybe the pressure is coming to the top now and it's not causing me to get headaches. Maybe because where it was growing, you know, whatever. It's like in this one part now that I can feel it. Now it's coming to a head. It took the pressure off this other part of my head that was giving me headaches. I don't know. I don't know. But, and even so, it was also good to know that at least it partially feels like it's getting better at the least. feels like it's getting better at the least. So anyway, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, a theory of universe. Hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.